and welcome once again to Wars Going On. I'm Arcturus, and I'm joined here by Sebastian Keynes on the Forerunner server to bring you the latest in what's going on in Watcher of Realms. As ever, this is a community-based podcast, and we do get in. Please do get involved down in the comment section, and remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon because it really does help grow the channel. And as we are coming up towards the 1 year anniversary of the start of Wars Going On, I would really like to be at 500 subs by May. So that is the target, people. Spread the word, grow the channel so that we can start getting more people involved in the fun and games that is Wars Going On.
1 year, really?
Yeah.
That's how long we've been at it. Oh, wow. All right.
Including that disastrous first stream where I managed to stream it at 240p. So yeah, it's
Yeah, for those of you that don't recall, we tried to do it live because Arcturus really wanted to, but we had to settle on recording there for a while. But yeah, 1 year, man, that time flies.
Absolutely. It's been a journey coming up from going from the Dragon Slayers channel to with a subspace of 3,000 to dropping back to my channel in August with 16 subscribers and then having to rebuild from there. So it's been an interesting 6 months putting it all back together. So, but this is fun.
We all,
This is fun.
we all start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
So, and I always told you I didn't have a problem trying to do this on your channel anyway, and then you can do whatever other content you wanted to add as well. But so should we get started with the major news, which I think that everybody now you can see it for themselves that Watcher of Realms returned to the Apple Store and the Google Play Store here in the United States, so we can again download it along with apps like TikTok and CapCut and all the other stuff that BitDance owns, technically, right? So
Yeah.
they still do own Muntan, so they own the app. So that is at least from our side. I'm gonna say that I'm optimistic. This whole thing has not been resolved yet, so
No.
don't think that we're completely out of the woods. So
Did you
we're waiting for the magic.
I was going to say, did
What
you
is it?
spot the limitations that's been put on it on the game by the two app stores?
I did, but
Yeah,
what are they going to do? Because they're at the mercy of the app store, so they have to do it, right?
yeah,
So yeah, the limitation right now is that they cannot put anything regarding W Gold in there in the specific app store. So
yeah,
when I'm in my emulator, I do not see that option. I hop on the PC client, it's there. Shiny is the first thing that you see on the tab, and it gives you that option there to go
yeah,
ahead and buy W Gold if you want through the PC client. But yeah, it's no longer present on the mobile side of things.
yeah. But everyone knows that by now that you can get your W Gold from Smile One and Coda Shop, not sponsored,
Mhm.
and they can get your. He is.
I'm proud.
But yeah, I mean that's where you can get, and obviously there's they run events all the time, especially when they know that people are going to be doing lots of summons. And I think they've got one at the moment where if you summon, you get loads of rewards in game, and if you buy it through Sebastian, Sebastian gets credit as well. So
No, yeah, but again, let me go back just to the minor point. Is let's just for those of you in the United States, keep an ear to the ground regarding April 5th because it hasn't been resolved yet. All right. So if April 5th hits, and Google and Apple don't think that they have the safeguards when it comes to the law and the game running in with Skystone, then I would say that they could be a possibility that it's pulled again. But again, I'm gonna cross my fingers and say that the Muntan is doing everything possible for that not to happen, and that then TikTok is treated different from the games. So we'll see. So that's what I'm waiting on right now. So we're still April 5th is the magical day.
yeah, this is I mean this is a step forwards. And the other thing that this whole thing has shown is that the developers are able to provide updates to the game, because I understand the global players got a minor update patch on Friday, which added more refreshes to the to the black market. Which so the
Mhm.
black market now gets its extra thousand, 4 extra 1,000 cost refreshes, which has been added in. It was part of the patch notes, which landed on Forerunners on Friday morning. So we have got an update. We will go over those, and we'll talk about what there is to come in the game and what effect that could have.
Yep. All right. So where do you want to start?
Let's start with the patch notes as released. Let's put it that way. So
Okay.
as ever, we've had some stuff released. They've made some changes to Volca, where they said that the ultimate description does not reflect the vulnerability scaling with skill levels. Now, this is an interesting one because if you actually go to her skills, there's nothing that says that this should scale with her skill level.
Right. So I have no idea what exactly is going on there unless there's
Yeah.
something in translation. So I guess that this is one of those that we have to look in the battle and see if the percentage is supposed to increase or if they were supposed to change the language in the description. But I didn't really catch the intent on doing this.
So, I mean, if they're scaling it up, then she would be more effective. She's going to be more effective in every game mode that you. I mean, at A5,
Yeah.
she's really effective
Mhm.
anyway, especially when she's applying like 45% bonus damage to anything with a debuff. And most combat
Right.
you're in, something's got a debuff. So yeah, she's a really valid unit, and this if that works, that reads works as written, that's going to make it even more valuable because it's going to benefit the entire team. So everyone's going to be able to take things down faster.
And then with her artifact, it would make it even better. But yeah,
Uh,
so I never noticed anything about scaling up. I thought it was a fixed amount. So this is something that we're gonna have to jump in and record it. And when I went into the test server to check, it's still the same wording. So
yeah, because this patch is live, so even though they say they've
right.
made this change, it's not visible to the player base who are sat here with with the hero in the gallery, with the heroes in their accounts. We can't see what they've done.
Well, and we should also mention here that we had a one version. So I screenshot one version, and then what they rolled out is different from that first one, and then
Right.
they edited, right? So I'm wondering of how much stuff they did indeed apply.
Yeah, so we'll go over the missing patch notes in at the end. Where I want to just like go through the main patch notes first, because it is interesting
Yeah,
what
that's
they
fine.
say is going to come, but isn't here yet. Okay, so something's going on with Volker. She may or may not have had a buff. She may or may not have got better, but we'll see.
Okay.
So system notes. All right, here we go. Yuri has had a change in her logic, so she's now going to prioritize restoring allies with lower health, which is absolutely fine, makes most sense. You don't want heroes who are uh, really healthy getting healed when they don't need to, especially when there's somebody next to them dying, which was the problem that Tallulah had when she was first released.
Alula had that problem, yeah, and I think that they're finally seeing, oh, we have something in the code that we need to fix for everybody.
Yeah. And Kagiri got a mega buff. Now, all of you have probably by now tried to do a Titanic Ruins run with Kagiri, and you've been poisoned, and you go to cleanse him, and all of a sudden, everyone else is cleansed, and Kagiri is still dying of poison. Um, so they've now changed the logic there with the cleanse, so that they will cleanse him even if he's not physically in the square anymore.
Mhm.
And so that's going to work. So that's really really good. and they've changed the Ember Strike up. Hyperlink didn't reflect Tranquil Reflection skill level, so which is it's kind of a clarity thing. It shouldn't actually. It's not game breaking. If as long as the back end logic is working, it doesn't really matter on the text description, but it just makes it clearer to the players.
Right, right, right. No, but the other thing was the Venom was the most noticeable one, right? That he could not get cleansed. So there were instances because I catch this in my Forerunner account because that's where I run Kigiri, is that sometimes he would not get that inspiration effect too when you would trigger somebody like
Yeah,
Constance, right? So it's just little things like that that when he entered or he had that vibration animation or whatever that was, it's just nothing would happen, and so they had to clean that up a little bit, and I'm glad that they did that. So yeah, so now yeah, like you said, it's kind it appears as a buff, but I think that that's how should have worked as intent. Should have worked to begin with.
yeah. So it's the Tranquil Reflection now. So this now reflects what it is, what this is. Oh yeah, so it updates based on what this level is. So if I go into my account where it's all fully filled up, this value should be different.
Okay.
So just navigate over.
Kalula also was fixed, it looks like. So
Yeah.
that's what was it? I keep game keeps crashing on me,
So
unfortunately.
yeah, so that's now says 480% damage 2 times, but and in the gallery it's 400%. So they have fixed that.
Okay.
Tallulah's
Perfect.
was a logic update, I believe.
She heals herself now.
Yeah,
That's the big thing about her. There was her quirk after they fixed the butterflies, right? Is that
yeah,
she was so concerned with everybody else that the butterflies wouldn't detect that she needed it. And then now she's going to be healing herself now at the same time that everything else is going on with her butterflies.
yeah, yeah. This is good. So they increased Guild War, sorry, activity rewards for Guild War and Guild Quest. This is all part of the need to grow the Guild coin economy. As they've introduced now the ancient summon stones and the ancient um, artifact shards into the guild shop, as well as those extra opportunities to buy shards for demon soldiers. But they haven't really increased the guild economy, the guild coin economy, in a significant way. Now, I'm hoping that we will start to see the benefits of that in time. Um, but the key thing, which we're going to spend the bulk of the video talking about, is they've done a big rework on the demon soldiers. And
It
so
did.
they've increased their HP, lowered their defense, and added level 3 and 11 skills, level 7 skills for the majority, not all, despite the fact it says all, majority of demon soldiers.
Right. Yep. You got it. So on
And
this one, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you dictate how you want to cover this. If you want to go each one through individually, or you just want to kind of generalize exactly how they were buffed. But everybody, almost everybody, got kind of the same treatment, right? It was like
yeah,
we're gonna increase your HP, and I was actually gonna go and see because one of the things that I didn't really check is those units where you can actually see the defense displayed to see how much they lost, but it doesn't look. I hope that it's not more than 10%, right?
mhm,
Because if you do lose a little bit of defense, you're kind of given the off or the heroes, the builds with a lot of attack, a little bit more of an advantage, even if you have
right.
that extra HP, right?
Yeah, I just need to push my my baby global account. I have a couple of global accounts, but my baby one is still in campaign stage 3 because I don't play it. If I get to
Right.
campaign 4.8, then I can go back and cross reference against my spreadsheet, which I made for all level 1 demon soldiers, which has got their hit all of their stats in it, and I'll be able to do the side by side comparison.
Right.
with what data I've got recorded there. Obviously, I can't do it with compare it to my current ones because all of my demon soldiers are leveled up.
Yeah,
Uh,
so it's hard to make the comparison. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
a nice little quality of life change to the black market that they've added 4 refreshes of 1,000 cost each on the back end of the thing. So you know how you have like 5 free ones, and then you have 4 at 500, and now you've got an extra 4 at 1,000. More opportunity to refresh the black market, more opportunity to buy summon stones, and anything else you buy from there. A nice little feature and low cost to do it.
Mhm.
Next up, I know is big for a lot of mobile players. So they started this thing where if you ran an auto battle, when it completed, it buzzed to let you know it was done. However, that can be annoying because you don't want to do your phone if you've got it running overnight and it buzzes, it could wake you up and or it was just like sat on your desk at work and it's running, it starts buzzing. You don't want that. Yeah, they've now introduced it. It's just in the settings, and you can just say vibration is just off. So, like just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, all these little things are just minor, so I'll just let you cover them. But I'm primarily a PC player. I let things run on my PC, so I don't see a lot of this stuff most of the time affect me.
Yeah. Now we will go into some friendly face-offs to kind of demonstrate this, but they have changed how demon soldiers deploy. So previously, you were able to kind of almost do the freeze time effect by clicking on an enemy unit, and that would slow down time really significantly, allowing you to double drop your demons one on top of the other to get the maximum effect out of them. Now they've changed it slightly so that it's not as easy to do. You can still do it. It's just not as easy to get that sort of double stacking the way it was previously.
Yeah, I put in a report for that. Is that and I made a comparison to the global account as it is right now. Hopefully they've put it back, but they're probably just going to say, well, you can slow it down by picking up the second one really quick. But they have already moved so much, so yeah, that's we'll see. I'm waiting for the response.
Yeah, I think the biggest people who are going to miss out are going to be the so the necromancers, because obviously everyone else you can separate them by a tile, and then as the other one comes up you just drop it right on top of it, whereas the necromancers, because they have that walk forward and then summon, if they're not doing it at the same time, then you're going to get the staggering of the necromancer of the skeletons, so they might get wiped out and they won't be able to overload the defenses in the same way.
The bomb strategy could also there's some implications for that because in some
Right.
situations you have to put the bombs in the first tile.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, unless you adjust your timings a little bit and start on the you can start on the back end and then have the second pair catch up on the first tile. So you're
Yeah.
gonna have to get adjusted to that. So what I would say is if they don't fix this and then roll it out to the global server, you're gonna have to jump into friendlies and practice your deployments again, just so you can get an understanding of how things are working out. And then you're gonna have to make a decision as to whether you want to grab the first set of units, plop them down, and then quickly either click on a ally or a hero, and or go and grab that second pair as soon as you can. Now,
Yeah.
I tried doing it on mobile, and that annoyed me. I couldn't. It's like it's too much of a delay. So they're already so spread out by the time that they're walking. So I had to come in the PC and kind of relearn everything how to deploy that. So some people may find it annoying. Those that don't care, they won't care. They just plop them down and hopefully it works.
Uh, right. Next up is a change to the hero infusing notification. So obviously in the camp, we have at the summon portal, you have the hero fusion. Now, if you've got the units, this sometimes has a yellow dot on it, and that on the legendaries, certainly sort of the Salazars, the Micahs, etc. This would cause a yellow dot to appear up here if you had the units available. And it would say, you need to fuse this, you can fuse this hero, but you might not want to because you either got it maxed out or you're just not interested. And a lot of people are finding it annoying. So the ability of them to go in and switch that off uh, is a nice feature. So people listening to player feedback and making the changes that people want. Next up is a nice little easy one, which is from the daily quest. If you now click on the go button next to the claim tide, rather than having to navigate from the war room home screen, because previously on global it just brings you to this page and then you click over to tide. Now, if you go into the quest and you click on claim tide, it brings you straight to this page here. So again, really nice little optimization. I know it's like one click. It's not a big thing in the grand scheme of the world, but it's just something to make people feel like they're being listened to.
Quality of life change is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, Combat visuals, haven't noticed any. The it says there's an improvement to them, so they've done some stuff. Congratulations. Give us
Sure, we'll take your
details.
word for it.
Yeah. We've increased the drop rate of uncommon soul stones. Yeah, right. Like show them in my account before we'll believe it. So I'm just getting a bit salty now. It's just been too long since I've had one. Right. Forge interface. This is a really nice quality of life change. You can now see in the Forge exactly what gear is available to forge. So previously, when they said we've released a whole new load of exclusive artifacts, there was generally a flurry of either trying to forge as much stuff as you could or like scouring the chat to see what people were saying they found or trying to find other sources of that information. Now they've put it all up for us. So they've grouped it by gear type, and you've got the wiki advantage. Obviously, this is the two-part sets, and you can see which heroes they're available. And likewise on the three-part sets, they've got it again by you can see the faction pieces, you can see the individual ones, and there. So yeah, nice quality of life feature, really good, helpful to everyone to see when new stuff appears.
Yeah, you don't have to go data mining for it.
Yeah,
That was the big thing.
and that was the other thing. Even if you went the data mining, whenever I got that information from the people who were able to provide it, they just gave me the name of the piece. They didn't actually give me the specs of the piece. Now I can go straight in there and see exactly what the gear does.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just little things like that. Just make it transparent. You don't have to be hiding it.
Yeah. Right. Next up is Sadie. Sadie's come into the camp. So now, if you get past stage 3, Sadie appears, and you get the opportunity to change songs. Obviously, I can't play them, otherwise I will get copyright striked. But you can come into this. You can switch between them, and it will stay for that game session. When next time you log in, you'll need to change it again. Just
The
mixes
game
things up
has
a
sound.
bit. Not when you're recording for YouTube. I need to talk to you about where you get your background music.
Okay.
Right. So added double confirmation for use of legendary soul stones. This game has soul stones. Um, and yeah, it's just a extra feature, safety feature. So you're not using them on heroes you don't want to use them on. I think this is trying to say to people, look, the reset books aren't a common thing. You can't rely on getting them. Are you absolutely sure you want to use the soul stone, on this hero. And
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean everything. It's just I would. I don't know if one hero reset a year is good. I don't know. Sometimes I wish that they had it like other games where you had, like these time frames where you could reset heroes if you wanted to. But because after so many months of summoning, your roster changes, right? And
yeah,
then the viability of some heroes falls off, and others just you need them more often.
mhm,
And then because you've strengthened your gear, things like that, that hero becomes more applicable to what you're doing. I don't know. So maybe that's something that we can broach later about having like a reset day or reset week where you just
yeah.
you reset your heroes. But yeah, so this one is like, yeah, are you sure? Are you sure again before you use it? It's fine. It just reemphasizes to people don't do this because you want to increase the BP of your hero.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do this type of deal? So yeah, yeah.
Don't put soul stones into more. About
Exactly. Are you sure you want to do? With Ma, they should ask 4 times. Are you sure?
I mean, if you want, I mean, skill crystals are much easier to get these days. But if don't use soul stones on more people on global, just don't. Um,
We beg you.
we beg you. Okay, and the next is Camp Quartermaster. Now, Camp Quartermaster. Now, this is a really nice little achievement, and can I get the achievement? Yeah, there it is. So what you get is you get to camp level 10, and then you get this 3 lots of all of them. So that's 3 dips of the Mystic Jelly. So
Yep.
that's a really nice one. I think I got a Divine out of it, which I think turned into an Ezrin eventually. So that wasn't too bad an exchange.
Nice. Congrats. Is
Um,
that SNA 5 now? Is
that is an
GVG viable?
A5 Ezrin. I have had absolutely insane rates on summoning this weekend. I got my Silas A5, I got Ezrin A5, I got Brockir A4, I got Karma A2. Um, I did get a Crodor, which wasn't too exciting. I got a Twyla on the Dao Chan banner. That made it to her to A2. Um, I got a Tallulah to A1. Yeah, just a brilliant, brilliant session of, and not in that many. And I'm like currently 14th on the Forerunners leaderboard. I was in the top 3 at one point, but my summons have slowed down because I'm a mostly free to play player. So I'm
Yeah,
just
you
not.
save them all and you just do it in all one shot. That's the yeah. So I was gonna say you're not a big spender, and then when he's
No.
saying A4 broker and all the stuff, remember he's been playing for a long time. So he played in the times where the pool was not as extensive as it is right now. So it was a lot easier to get your commits and your arrogances up to A5 really quick if if you knew how to play your summons at the time.
Yeah, one of my biggest summon pains is the fact that I had a triple summon in like the first Winterval Frostfall event and a triple legendary pull, and I didn't get the achievement because that achievement didn't exist at the time. So I have to somehow recreate that. Um,
Okay.
okay, so that was the patch notes that were released. Unfortunately, they kind of tipped their hand a little bit, and earlier in the week, they released another set of patch notes which had some different things in. Now, the first, this is a little bit difficult to see, and Sebastian has no chance of seeing this, but he talked about it in his videos the other day, so he knows roughly what I'm talking about. So first up, the first page was the same. It was saying 4 heroes. We've updated. The next page was talking about changes to the guild system. So they kind of talked about this in a dev note a while back, saying we're introducing like more opportunity to build a guild, and it'll be another source of getting things out of the guild stock. So what's going to happen? It says reading this as best you can was that guild members are going to be able to claim coins based on their previous week's activity. And leaders and vice leaders are going to get more because reasons. Um, and then I'll take it. Um, then you'll get more is if you do your attacks in Guild War, you'll get more stuff, which I think is actually one of the things they have introduced. Is they've introduced more rewards from Guild War and Guild quests, and they're going to introduce. I nearly caught myself. So they're going to introduce a feature for low activity guilds. Now, if you're in a holding guild, or so you come out of a guild, you're not quite ready to move into another guild, or you go away from the game and you come back and you find that you're the only person left in a guild. Normally, you have to wait like a week to shut down a guild to close it out. Okay? Now, by the way this reads, that if there's been less activity the fewer members with activity less than 30, then you're going to be able to say, this is a low activity guild, and then you can kind of immediately join other guilds. You don't need to like permission to leave. You don't need to be kicked, and it's just going to give more people more flexibility to be out moving around um, to find other things, which is good. Because it can be really frustrating when people are like, "Oh, I've got to wait 24 hours to get out of a guild, or sorry, an hour to get out of a guild, or trying to shut down a guild because you're the last person left, and then you're stuck." So we'll see what happens on that. But I think that's a nice quality of life feature.
Sure. Yeah. The other thing that I was wondering about is that if you do see like a low activity guild and you see that there are still like three members that are highly active, can you go ahead, even though they're still in the guild, go ahead and invite them up?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It says
go
they can
poach
accept
them in a sense.
invites. So
So yeah, so that means that if those astute ones that want to start replacing, especially if you're in the lower ranks, that you can easily go and try to poach people and say, "Hey, you want to come to an active guild? Go, I'll send you an invite," type of deal, and you just leave right away.
yeah.
But the top guilds are not going. I don't think they're going to suffer too much from this problem. So
No, I mean there's a lot of moving and shaking at the top guilds anyway.
mm,
So,
yeah,
but this is for low activity guilds. The low activity guilds are working in a different, almost in a different game to the people in the top end guilds.
all right. So in terms of the guild activity, guild coins, rewards, all the stuff, they did tease us again with the Guild War player leaderboard.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
for
when
a whole 8 hours. For a whole
for a
eight
whole
hours.
8 hours. Because when I logged in and I covered the patch, I saw it and I was like, "Here we go, it's here." Now, when I presented it, it was still buggy,
Mm.
but I thought this is probably what they meant by increasing Guild War activity. And then I log off, do my stuff, I come back in, boom, it's gone, just disappeared. It's
Yeah,
like, where the hell did it go? Yeah, so it's like we're thinking about it. Nah, not yet. Or we're gonna wait until season 8. But
I
yeah, I think that they have the machinations that they're going to enact something
I'm
regarding that.
wondering if they're tracking the data and they're just going to release it at the end of the season to try and stop people from like pissing off their guild mates, like targeting easy units for wins, and then they're just going to say at the end of the season, there you go, that's the data, that's across the entire server. These people get more, you don't.
I don't know, but it's funny that we saw it there for a minute and then they took it out. It's like they had a change of heart. So maybe we're not ready for this yet.
Yeah. The other thing that was promised but didn't appear was the new level of the Drake Guild boss. So it did say that they were going to introduce Abyss 1 difficulty for the Drake's Chasm, and or Guild Boss 1 if you're not up to speed on all the names.
Mhm.
But yeah, didn't appear, which is a little bit annoying. But we do have the Dao Chan event going on, so they might have gone. Do you know what? We've got the Dao Chan thing going on, so let people focus on that rather than have to worry about the new guild boss, and then let roll it out in a week or so time when they're not trying to do two things at once.
Yeah, that's fine. It would have been fun to play around with the new guild boss, but we'll wait. Maybe there was something that wasn't ready about it, and I didn't see it on the test server. So yeah, they're
Mm.
probably not ready to implement it yet, or they're waiting to release a hero so everybody has something to throw at it.
Well, yeah, they normally it's release hero then content, right? That's how this game normally goes.
That's what we're thinking about Dao
Mm.
Chan, and
Mm.
then get her A1, and then probably she's gonna be OP for this new boss. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what they have planned for this.
I think everything else was the same, but I mean that was kind of interesting. This extra sort of stuff around the guilds. Yeah, I think there's some exciting stuff on the horizon. It's a little bit unfortunate it's not ready yet, but it's more stuff to talk about. And as soon as it gets here, we'll show you it in operation.
Yeah, yeah, I think everybody was just there was a little bit of excitement with everything returning to the United States, so that also may have played a factor into it, right? And then we have the
Yeah, definitely.
Valentine's Day special, so maybe they just wanted to focus on that for now and then get the new stuff in. But I think that after the rollout of the Phantasmal Nightmare in global, they just want to make sure that there wasn't any other screw ups that people are going to be talking about and discussing bugs because lately that's what it was filled. A lot of the videos on the Discord, Words Discord is bug here, bug here, bug here, bug here. So it wasn't looking great. And then of course we did get the notification. Content creator said, if you see any test server bugs, let us know. Don't publish it. They don't need to know it. It's test
Yeah.
server stuff, right? So, um, but when it actually makes it to the game, which then they have to do a hot fix, that's when they look bad.
You mean this hotfix?
Yeah, that
Mm.
one.
So apparently, yeah, she was doing. I think this is the thing that Fasty talked about in his video that the damage reduction and penetration weren't working appropriately. Um,
Mhm.
I think when I tested it earlier, even at a naught, she was applying penetration to 3 units, and that's like an A5 sorry, an A3 unlock. So I think that's a bug that was probably now been patched out. So
Yeah.
unfortunate,
Mhm.
but understandable that they needed to sort that out.
Yeah, so that one, I understood as to why it was because the hero I think was already in or in the game. I'm not sure exactly what the timing was.
Yeah,
But if that's what Fasta was relating to, that you still rolled it out with this bug and it needs to be fixed, then yeah, I understood that. The ones that I didn't understand were everybody that was with test server access were actually publishing all the bugs before Dio-chan even made it, her banner open up.
yeah.
So for my perspective, I mean, it wasn't like I just did it on the background. I said, okay, here's what I'm seeing. Something's not, but I skirted around those showcases that I did. I skirted around that topic, and I just wanted to say, okay, here's what she's capable of doing, and this is what you can look forward to. Not highlight on the bugs.
Yeah.
Well, eventually a couple of them made it. So either way, that's I think that that's just those one of those things is creating fires where you don't need to type of deals. But she is a good hero. I wouldn't say that, don't be scared off by the bugs or whatever people were noticing before.
Uh,
She's gonna be a good hero.
I'm frankly a little bit underwhelmed at the moment. As I say, I've done a lot of summons. I only have her A naught, and that may be flavoring
Okay.
my experiences at the moment. But her even like with decent gear on, because she's got this big interval, you need to make sure it's got lots of attack speed to try and get it down to a reasonable interval. Then she's applying
Mm.
inspiration, but it's a low level inspiration. And you're trying to, if you're getting penetration, you're only getting it on 3 units. or 2 units, and maybe three if
Two
you've got
units,
the.
three with the awakening. Yeah.
And it's just not much. I mean, if for me, I run a Solkadon's team in Guild Boss 1. So already during the ultimate, all of the Nightmare sorry, the Infernal Blast units are getting 30% penetration. So she's not really adding a lot to that team for me because as soon
No.
as he's firing his ultimate, he's useless. Um, because otherwise I've got to like manipulate the positioning to make sure that the penetration goes on the right heroes.
So you're switching her on and off then,
No,
because some
well,
no, you're just leaving her on the
what would be the
sun.
Dolores tile like at the front of the top run? So I could just dive in and just demonstrate it because as I say, I was playing around on earlier.
Well,
So
you gotta decide which one you're gonna go for first, right? Because Seer and Drake's, I would just leave her on the inspiration mode. It's the Song of Sorrow, I think.
yeah,
You would just leave her there. You would
yeah,
not use her as a healer, protector, penetrator,
no, no,
right?
no,
I
no,
just want the permanent inspiration on.
yeah. Okay,
Let
this
her
this
do that.
is
Let her stack up.
this is not fully representative because my gear is elsewhere and I wasn't actually planning on diving into this right now, but I'm here anyway. So this is kind of like how I normally do my guild boss run. So I start with Azilatu, I get the inspiration on her, I then drop in Sun Wukong, I get the inspiration on him, and then I drop in Arrogance because he's got the survivability that he doesn't need constant healing. And
Mhm.
then she comes in, then he comes in, and well, I screwed up the position, but you kind of get the idea that I've this will work, this can do its thing, and yeah, yeah, I screwed up position. But anyway, the point remains here that she's in this mode. She's applying the penetration buff to a couple of units. Go away. So the penetration is on. No, it's not even on these two. It's on Arrogance, and it's on. Yeah, it's actually meant to land on Solkadins, who's not actually doing anything because I positioned him wrong. But anyway, that's not the point. So no, she's only put it on one unit. Oh no, so it is now on Wukong. So yeah, it's on 2 units. But
Okay.
it's just a little bit underwhelming at the moment. I ran through. I'm getting less than I am by getting running Dolores in uh, similar gear, similar stats. And I was just kind of expecting a little bit more from her, I think. But that's a naught. And these heroes always scale better. And also her artifact, I think I was expecting a little bit more from it because I understand that it only scales up her healing capability and not her attack score. So again, that's a little bit disappointing. If you're going to have an artifact like that, I think it really should do both to make it fair across the board.
I- Okay. So maybe for Drake's, she's not going to be that highly valued or might not be able to replace Dolores. I do think that maybe in the new boss, there might be more tiles to cover. Maybe that's why it's so integral to get her to A1. But I I mean, in Semra, just getting that protection, you can see that, and it can increase the sustainability during battle.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so
But
I like you said, she's not like an OP support hero. She's good. She will do a decent job for what you want her to, and you can change her modes
mm,
based on what you need her to do. But yeah, I mean, that attack interval is sometimes it will prevent her from to be an effective healer. It's at least she will, at least give you some damage reduction when you need
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I loaded her up with like my fastest inspiration gear that I could get, and I got it down to about 2.7, which isn't bad. Um, but I'm
Okay.
starting from a 6-second base, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just
yeah.
painful.
No, so all of this I understand, especially when you're trying to make comparisons and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think overall, when I was doing some of the stuff that I did in the Titanic ruins with her in the test server, is that I did at least get a little bit more damage because it was a prolonged battle, right? At least I
Right.
was able to get a little bit more damage from my heroes, and in how many able she was able to cover once I got her to that awakening that I need to get extend her out even more.
Yeah, and
So
at the moment, I'd be struggling at where to put her in my team because my Semra team is running Eloin, so I have Eloin kind of like covering the tiles
mm,
and a couple of platform units around. And so the only place that I could really place her, well, I guess I could place her below, but then I've got Percy. Yeah, I just can't quite work out where to put her at the moment. And if in a naught, then she's got the Sadie range problem, which means she can't cover enough. She can't cover everybody with her protection, and that's the problem I ran into with running Sadie. That I can't. While she's got her big ultimate, which is really nice and saving people, the the someone's always going to catch it in the face because you've got so many units, and the positioning of Sadie means that it's really difficult to get her to cover everybody.
right, right. Okay. Well, I guess yeah. So she might be okay. So I'll give you this. She might feel a little bit underwhelming right now because number one, you don't have her at least awaken A1, and two, she does not have the bond skill yet, right? Because you
Yeah,
don't have Lubu in your account. So yeah. So maybe the initial test, she's not getting there. And yeah, so this is one of the things that I have sometimes a problem with it in the test server that it's really hard to get a judgment on a hero without that skill, the bond skill, right? Especially with when it comes to her being an AOE damage protector.
yeah,
So I would have loved to be able to test that ability without it, but at least we kind of know what she's capable of doing. And that's essentially what sometimes you want to drive is that if everything is perfected, this is what the hero can do.
yeah,
All right.
definitely.
So all
But
right. So do you
we
want
know
to
that Air Moon to do most of their balancing around L5 god tier gear. So this is just another
yeah.
example of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to close this episode down with going just quickly over the demon soldiers?
Yeah, let's spend a bit of time diving over the demon soldiers. I think the key things to take away are that all the demon soldiers now got these extra unlocks at 3 and 7. So this one, the A5, is still there for everybody.
Hmm?
Key ones to take away from lightning guards got more HP, and they're going to get more damage, physical damage reduction, which will make them more resistant to archers, which is going to be really, really
Yeah,
good for them.
exactly.
Another good one to take away is these guys, the necromancers. They're getting a lovely buff. So obviously they're A5. They get their skeletons get stronger, and then at L7, they're going to get damage reduction, which is a really really nice feature to have. I mean, they're pretty tanky themselves as a demon. They've got like an elite health bar, so they're able to take a fair amount of damage. But the damage reduction is just going to increase that survivability and make them even more of a headache.
Yes, and that at least for that unit, that's gonna make people go farm GR1 a little bit more frequently now because you do want to get them to 7 to get that damage reduction. I think the dogs are also. Do they get the dual one as well, or are they just
Yeah,
getting the
the
physical
dog's got magic damage reduction, so that should help.
magic damage?
So help them when they're trying to run through ice crystals, which is
Yeah,
often
yeah,
a
yeah.
tactic which is used. So the ability to survive running into an eye bomb would be really, really good. Shadowcasters just got physical damage reduction, which is good because they can be a touch on the squishy side. I mean, I think it's nice to have these features. I think I would have liked a little bit more creativity. Because it does seem to be that they've gone. It's either HP and defense or HP and resistance. I think they've done such a good job with some of the the skills that they have come up with. I have to say, I think the Knight of Destruction got a very fuzzy lollipop in terms of what he got because he basically just got more of the same. So he was pretty boring. Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
that the big message here is that they increased the HP with level 3. Uh, in some of the units, they changed the major passive. They said the HP instead of 25 is 10%, but once you then boost them at level 3, you get an additional HP boost. So that's where the increases in HP come in. Level 7, again, everything is pretty much damage reduction. Some are either just magic, some are just physical,
physical, yeah,
some dual.
both.
And
Yeah, so
yeah,
I've been
exactly.
teasing people saying that season 7, season 8 onwards, it's going to be the season of the Scourge because these guys are
You
getting
think,
P damage reduction and M damage reduction. So yeah, not
yeah,
going to
I
be.
could, I guess.
These guys got nothing.
And even the rares got a boost. That's
Yeah,
it was just phenomenal. It was lovely. It was good to see that the rares even got a little bit of a boost as well.
yeah. It was, especially certain like the defenders. These rare soldiers are pretty useful for stacking up on it on enemies and getting them some extra magic damage reduction, which is going to make improve their survivability, which is going to give you more options when you're going up against magic heavy teams. So that's going to be good because you load those up on a defender and they clog it up for the blocks, and you send something small and fast through to cause havoc in the defenses.
Yeah, so this hopefully, hopefully tilts things a little bit in terms of offense versus defense, but eventually down the line, that new heroes are going to come into the game, and some of them are going to be doing absurd stuff that will completely negate whatever they did here. So maybe in the future, as we start building this up, and some old players are start getting past 7, they start thinking about some adding something for 9 or 10. But right now, one of the comments that I got in the video that I did for this is, well, okay, fine. You added something for levels 5 and 7, but are you going to increase the rate for these guys to drop? Right.
Yeah,
So I can easily set up 500 battles on GR1 and not get a legendary fragment. And it's annoying
yeah,
because
definitely.
you have to make such an investment to get these guys up. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I
So
mean
I
that
can,
that's 20, 30 stamina potions to get that much uh, stamina ready to do those runs. So that costs diamonds. It costs you planning and resources to make sure that you've got space in your inventory and you can leave it running. So
yeah.
yeah, I think one heroes like this guy, the Infernal Cleric, are going to get a big bonus from getting extra HP because they are so squishy at L0, L1, and L2. So hopefully, this extra 10% at level 3 will make them more viable. Um, but yeah, that's it. I think there's some lost. I will stick the link to Sebastian's video. I hadn't been intending to spend more time talking about it, but he's done such an in-depth one that it seems a shame to go over it all again. But more good stuff is coming. The demon soldiers are getting a nice buff overall, and yeah, I think we've got some fun times ahead in terms of DVG. I think magic damage, and physical damage reduction on these guys.
I still think that we need something in the Demonic Crusade that is open just as frequently like Void Rift is, right? So we go into Void Rift, we complete it every week, and because if we do it, we get all these resources out of it, right?
Yeah,
Auto battles, gleaming meteorites, and yeah, gleaming meteorites is the big thing. and gear and cards and all this stuff, all this gold, all this stuff comes in. I really do think that in order to help us increase the level of these demon soldiers, that they should have the demonic crusade open in the same way, whether they want to rotate maps or something, and just have us run it through the week. And then if we get to the end and complete the toughest run, then we get some type of legendary chest where you can get three, four, I don't know what do you think would be 10
I
fragments
think
of a legendary at random
I
or
think
something like that?
20 I would
Yeah.
be my minimum, especially because once you start going up levels, that 10 is just not going to cut it. People won't be bothered for 10. They'll want more than that.
But that would allow you to, if you care about GBG and optimizing your demon shoulders, at least there's an avenue for you to go there and not, and not have to think about, all right, if I set up 500 rounds in GR1, am I going to get at least 20 out of this? It's
Right.
essentially what comes out of there. Exactly. So,
Cool. I
all
think
right.
that's probably enough for today. I think the Demon Soldiers stuff is going to be really interesting. I think we're going to see some more stuff. I'm really hoping some new interesting Demon Soldiers are coming. Um, I say the Infernal Cleric, I think, has been a little bit lackluster. I do think the Baby Fool, the Epic Shielder is quite a good one. I think he's got some viability because of his cost, and he's doing the same level of shielding as the Fool himself. So you can get away with doing a lot with him, and I would just want a little bit more creativity and more viability
Well,
for the ones which you have got in the game.
we have the Frostbone mark, we have the Chaos mark. So as we start adding more demons, so maybe there's something that we can do with them there. But yeah, hopefully this little bit of a boost helps. I will tell you that maybe my Forerunner account will notice it a little bit more because this is not the account that I consistently farm a whole lot, and so my Demon Soldiers are still in like the level 4. Some of them, like my Lightning Guard's still level 4, so they're not
Yeah.
there yet. So maybe we can see a little bit of a difference, and then some of the methodologies that we know should work, you're not getting BP checked by them, right? You're
Right.
not getting blasted. You're not getting blasted by Ingrid as easily. So maybe this is a first step, and then as other stuff gets introduced, maybe that starts, making this not so slanted. Where you get into battles that you shouldn't be in to begin with. So,
Yeah, I would say that there is definitely an increase in Demon Soldier BP following this. Either that or the guild we're up against is significantly harder than other ones. Because I think the B the teams we're up against, the BPs have been higher in this round than they have been in previous weeks.
yeah, yeah, awakenings, gear, exclusive gear, all of that is having a major, major impact in it. So I'm glad that they are at least compensating it with the demon shoulder buffs a little bit because they do needed them. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit out of hand as to how easily some of these units can melt some of these demon shoulders.
Yeah,
And so you not reach that BP check, and it's all dependent on you trying to, outdo Uridan. You have to have a stack account of Uridans and Iobars and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not. That's not. Some people are not going to enjoy the content as much as they would if they had
no,
everything.
a lot of the players don't enjoy DVG, and hopefully this equalization effort will make it a little bit less painful for them and maybe make it enjoyable for them.
Mm.
Now, if they could
Yep.
just do the same thing with Arena,
You just had to. You just had to drop that bomb before we say goodbye. We just.
topic for another week. It's an ongoing
Yes.
topic. It never goes away
Topic
because
for
they won't fix the damn game mode.
or your main topic this last week, which is uh, let's keep the Forerunner server alive, people. What are you doing? We're dying. The game is essentially the population is like, nah,
Yeah.
goodbye. We had enough. So we're seeing a difference on the interactions. I mean, come on. It's essentially what's becoming here is a Russian heaven when it comes to the Forerunner server, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, they got to. We can get into that later, but yeah, I know that that's something that's also close to you. Is that this server needs like a boost, something to
yeah,
get yeah life back into it.
yeah. I mean, there are things they could do, and some of them I don't really I hope they don't go down. But there are things that I would hope they could do to try and encourage people to come and play because level one accounts joining an old server, it's not fun for them, and it's not helping the end game players who need to backfill people who are quitting. So it's a problem, and they need to fix it. Right. So next week we will try and get a guest on. Hopefully, we will have some more stuff to talk about. People will maybe share some experiences of playing with Lubu, and we'll see what comes of that. So we'll see you all next time, and thank you for tuning in.